Tell me more about the Immigrants' Rights Clinic. What kind of cases do you handle?
Yeah, so there are three pillars, I guess you could say, for the clinic. One thing we do is policy work for non-governmental organizations or institutional clients. So, for example, Kids in Need of Defense, or the National Immigrant Justice Center. They've been clients of ours, where students will learn about what it means to write a white paper or research an issue and make recommendations and then present those recommendations to the policymaker. So that piece of the clinic was certainly informed by my work at the forum. The second piece is community outreach and community lawyering. So, for example, the police department is a client of ours. And in that capacity, students have trained police officers in the State College Police Department on immigration issues, have helped to develop a written policy on immigration
Wow.
for law enforcement. And those are some examples. The school district is also a client of ours, where we might do policy setting around schools. And then finally, we provide legal support in individual cases. So some of those cases have involved you victims or survivors of crime, asylum seekers who are applying affirmatively with the office, or who are applying for asylum as a defense to removal. It's a pretty low volume because there's a pedagogical component to the clinic too, right? On the other hand, in the wake of the 2016 election, we have really done a lot of rapid response. So if you are on the Improv listservs, you'll see from time to time, if a new proclamation comes out, we'll try to have a fact sheet in plain English available in 24 to 48 hours. And so that page on our website has really become a clearinghouse, not just for our community, but also for on a broader level.
Now, the community part you spoke about was fascinating in that you're working with all these different organizations. Is that typical of clinics, and how did that start for you guys?
Yeah, so I like to think of our clinic as unique in a sense, in that we have our hands in a lot of different areas. So there are clinics who also work with their municipality. But I do think that we've been able to dig a little deeper in some areas. And part of it is the amount of time that I'll spend on relationship cultivation is long. And that too is informed from my work in DC. So we've had a 5-year plus relationship with the municipality, for example. So we are now trusted when it comes to questions and issues of immigration. So even after COVID, the borough or the municipality reached out to us about how to frame the availability of services to residents in State College in the wake of the pandemic. And a postcard went out to every single house resident to say that services are available for everyone without regard to immigration or citizenship status. So I feel like we've been able to make inroads in positive ways. There are some challenges. We're in rural Pennsylvania. So there is definitely a feeling of, if we're not doing the work, who is? I can't give you a list of immigration nonprofits in my area because there are none, right? I can't give you a short list of ALA attorneys who do deportation defense on a pro bono or low bono basis, because we just don't have that in central Pennsylvania. And so I think there's also a personal responsibility and accountability I feel like our clinic has to the community, to just serve as many people as possible, even if it's not direct representation.
There's been such a growth in clinics and just demand from law students for this kind of material. My course at Pepperdine doubled this year. And so that model you have is fascinating. I wish it would be exported all across the law schools. Not just, I mean, everyone is always thinking clinics are helping, low-income people go to court and stuff. But the other two prongs that you discussed, the pillars, are things that I haven't heard of before. I'm not sure if I just haven't heard of it or it's just not typical. But I think it's wonderful. And I really hope people watch this will hear that and try to add it to theirs. And if you could put any information how people do that, that'd be great if you work. Now, try getting the clinics together, make a connection on the various. Because I was a law school liaison for AILA for many years and the vice chair nationally and locally. And I've tried to connect the clinics so they'll work together and share information. But I was never successful in doing that. But what you're doing is fascinating. I really hope others listen and follow.
Oh, thank you. And I should say that there's now a national listserv just for clinics.
Okay.
So all the clinic directors and attorneys and staff have a place to go. And it's also a little safer than a broader listserv that might have government attorneys and the like, especially when we're talking about strategy, litigation strategy, and the like.
Thank you for listening to this episode. For previous episodes and more, please visit the podcast page of our website, immigrationlawyerstoolbox.com. You can also visit the Toolbox YouTube and LinkedIn pages to catch the video versions of these podcasts, news updates, and a lot more. Immigration lawyers can also contact me to join the private Facebook page. The email is info@immigrationlawyerstoolbox.com.